Okay. En is tuis. Achtla aya. Achtlak. Achunitsu. Lugóon. Tlitcock ʼéináx. Sophie Smarch. De hinsa shoot to Canaan. Kleide hin oa kachwoes videos. Je gachtuneen. Je denachtunee. What are your intentions? Je gaat jou sika. Sus achtuasigu wudusku adusua ekustiidat dasa yasiku. Ka achtuasigu tsu yukatangi. Ik saudu achi. Tlith kideen du yukatangi achda yakushuske wake. Adach tlith kideen wasaku dasa yadatu we videos kach. Adach kua Lugóon Ḥunachaya amsiku. Tus yayi dat wasaku. We videos skethnik du kustiidat laguk skethnik yesdat hate dat we goed kaya lagadi shawat dat ka Lingít satitsu ya atuni Wooch ischan masa kadushxeet ʼatudli.átk. Lugóon Ḥunachaya amsiku adusahu. Ka Ḥunachaya amsiku tsu we ʼatudli.átk ye chasyati. Dasa du ish, du tla, du tlikuhas, du ihas amtlitu, ye awe kudziti. Gwelth nusk videos gach tutlitin. Tsus clips gwelth jinkot ka Cajun winnets kanach. Ye tlik kune ye adane du in. Tlach masa du toa sigu we atkutu adi dach awu in. Achwe yat Hisitingi? Okay.
Kijin tak hatsati o ʼéináx yan tuat the kaduhan shaka de ken tuat. Ako das kak hanakaguat hana teik ʼéináx hataka ayagi at untak tuasigu ikhtatiu sik ayaho I kuat. Masa ushki hauni itlain. Masa kakinu kwe una lilisha guk. Kaya tlat sukitende yitin akag o hei wat watu tu aadé tlat kika kamasa kudutsiti kamasa atuha kamasa atuin. Mai te saha uhui. Kasjagu sa aha uhui kakutushi aha kahi. Kudutsiti sik. Da ko una oktoashigu iksatiu gidat ka weda haguatan. Kuna akai uni. Kagachtus iusit kamsanis. Nukhata kahish. You ʼadudli.átk to te. Only too short. Keslada janichka. Nakasi uni o I uni. Ukaditangawa unam dus uni. ʻatkai. Aise una kudziti. Wataka. Kuna awat pau. You ayah kadistana una. Hayu taki unati you islatin had kanside tuna. Aka o adi in. Wataka ish. Gukuna. Dashi chuka kina za kina adishka. Akisha ada kata kaya. Achta gutski. Good. Kata haguko an akakushi. Ashe dihani tingut leg cock. It's not even enough to eat one leg each. I walk away. Ekunasi dashi chitte kina. Achtaktum dik. First time I ever shoot. The kadushxeet yetiyu ka the kadushxeet the Lugóon ʼéitáx sig gan chish tlach tuig the gedena di undi at sati eski patisik at sati at joach at hon tlai that dasa unatlin the Lugóon shotgun dasa 22 Pushede unse hakochli shash una train she di hen hoin et disk dasa wat sich dasa wat tani task stach haslagat kau ok to hoin
Kunnach ai achtu sigu atlatini yata yadich ya atwunedat ka Lingít kusti so see if I can see isitingi
the kadide oh ishe hada khanejin kes adu si the gochtushi ajay eden ach nein sa eden masi shukhajes Tetsuka hisi kwasi shukhaja Telaktoa shkui dishoko Ajay edeni it hasatun Yuhada carnage Tetsuk on you Telushke Tetsukuge in the Tangak Hikas Well at Gege Akuna Kane at the Kadnion at Telakisa Telushke Yuhada carnage in a ish Taan Hatu what that Telsa adus eshtugehos yahos katla maikwa tsakautsiti yah ish adaha yeduslitu yakachtla ya o achlil achandu gudachtla ach ishtutla kuntakla achananko de jidachtu giden at hoshigu achlil the case ahotshikujes masa de case Chakuge tsake isa khod otas khata khane jinakli kiden aka yatsa ko khatili kata sawatsa you dar na kaziutu you gachtapai el chakuge kadushxeet Then you must say to in God do a new call over the case. How a task cadasas the cadayado ade dodane. Hug setting ade dahane a call or what has this good catase or kinders cashnage nach ish the clodges. Oh, she's she could just say dodane. Kamasa this hook. Ceisio gan tuach da is a teacher to da carnagin. O gan jos saket. O tasle tel ultin. Da carnagin a leak. La an hat what. Kachi that. Yeah. Hostit. Atsuha I know a sad Canada da leak. Catch a kuge koch in sagok. El sauce a kin shock. Kushter to masakoti. As do ya again. Has to ko o has yati. A hardwish kitch a kuge eat a watan. As you two ke gochten no. We ochke. The hada carnage in a silk. A jawa. Kaya I do a ne. Kushter to adusa. Has to two hodziti has to. You had a carnage in a silk. The an hadu what. Ya all. Ach ish. As ʼéitáx na ʼatudli.
Oh, sorry.
Ach is da carnage. In tingu shite liao English range. Wooch a ʼaklak named ook. Ye gachisatin. Wat chicho anach de has a Wooch a ʼaklak. Tayu all pro do a salgrade a Ḳukahaa ado ti. Tayu ha shai Ḳukahaa has ʼatudli ʻátg. A o ha na teacher Lingís. Oh, I do good to it lot to us huh? A George a clock a din odd just like on a skin shaw. Shoot on of the saying sitting clock who can I nick or the carnage in a ish. A clock a hat to knee shaw. Lady he no hard sitting in the hot shumsligas. What's he who shook on house and society.
Yeah. Aadé we video ʼxukahaa.
We browser cookie. Sorry.
Aadé. Astúnach cé a dhéád an chéin. Tá dhé ó
Chitu a daye jene to I. Kuslito a sagu. Lugéon o ata. Qakwati.
Ach kusti aya. Aadé.
Kashuk ad.
Sorry. Wooch I ʼéitáx. Kadushxeet. Kanak yechat dayacha ya ʼéitáx skeltni guna kadit skeltni yachiti. Tus ʼéitáx unaidach gaktuslatin. Adach du ish ka das dasawuni 1902 just Ḳukahaa to we screen share.
Well, one.
Okay. 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 Isitingi? Okay. Okay.
Nahagutsyo da ko de kakako hayaka. Kushamasak pani kagir ka ukudzi. Keshpan masu hati sinigak jawasa hati. Wait, what she's kind hati shat. How akhwat little kindity. Das huge awadi kahose. The huge of twasigu or the hot dine. Keshanake hati tijak. You could your da ko de kakako ya. At your toddler to cheer at two whole good at some decking. The key ocean ka. Oh, Chakawa seal order ka kutis and the ustinch. La katsu akoya gi pokuzi. Chakadam sitting to the shout lek there. A yanda talk. A day la yan good kidin. A just a luck. A Junaga, a Japanaga, or Kagiwu goods. La hoot. We a gate like you a jack. A two word seal order to the Jintago or to the Chandra city. Oh, aadé. Hey, da say a kawaha. Ayaka. Tak, the hunt kasu go. I would do cock'em siku or the star high. The danger I go kasatin, you know. Tak would do how I could do a shot to chick kinada. A child, a judge, you know, Gacha kakasakawaya. Take to the sick una. The day, the kade, the achtusti. Take some this coup. I do so is kudasu 80. I just would do cock jom siku. I take the ear ship, kashterha. A siep, a pina kana da kunaha de huatadin. A o. Das ist so Kinderchuno noch. Steht kudati. Masak siya hat kaktu sa yung ayaka. Atel asayat. Hat ko padasa. Hat daya. Khit laya hat yati hat. Laya gidak laya yida didak. Ay saku. Aksegak yacht. Sinu. Atunach yi hoch ko hagut. Kes katsu yakhana kuchta kodagut. Atlechaya kogut. Huchaya. Akudehan. Amdahani in Udekin. Atjoach tes kadushxeet dadida. Adachoa. Ach ish kakasti o. Kaktu anech ish. Is de kunech sati. Dirtak sati. Wat kem shiril. Wat aka. Wat du dik. Le de kastluus da goed de katach ish. De kunech. Och lísk a dan snug se tú da ligéch ís a dan snug se a dan stig de cadéide. A tú a cáwas it te siú áireach lé de casandach lé du cínde a cáwas it te léch a dan snugt. A ó a lí chéad le cá méidí dú a sá a lí chéad le cá ó a cad ó gud de cad cóchóch. Was is hit ʼadudli.átg je gé as is hit ʼadudli.átg a o a ga ianachich as jagad a ʼtasiúdlik ad má cosé a dieti. Du kunné o ya niúkja du kunné a du samsikudet du kunné nigu trí dat gida han die qana go hat sanu die kan couch je go sané jis yu ay qawat kahini klein Clark a chlítka a chudi gut te ganda had á siadach is. Het is niet lo siadu aga stati. Das is zo vanoch hittiginge o das is zo wat zich tu gedlede hati a kawa ja. Ja an sinu. Ein am sinu gachlík ach is daga. Telles die kies geet lachit. Die kan gauw ik als heen laat aan doe dus enig sinne ach is de klein chamzita te kunne ja o aga kake a tiel at heen klein a ka die ach is o die kan gauw ik ach is sak a je Yes, cars on the go old hit yaw good. So is this a hit claim was settled in a stay car. It's a do so kumasa kunatli. Oh, other do acht. Well, hit. Kaye, a two good gone a hot lucky a yachati. It's go. Oh, on the con cow ik a hin a car. Dachak a acht. Oh, yes, a dark. Wat du kunne ha is sak oeti ha is sak wat du kunne a je yam to at ne nach te sakad is a cool the cut you want is a cool you a kayo shit ach is an napu good am sikuch chat anuna I had a carnage. Hester ich to kushap ik oe to hit. You had a carnage in a ish. Jetlock. A ye siku when a chisha reading sa ahen. We hit that. The hera stitzin. Gonna cheese.
Oh. Ja, good luck. Ja, dus tlide hino Lugóon echat dayacha achwawusi ʼéitx ach ide guchte shi. Adach tlide hino tsu jiskgach chatloon. Tus hat ka ʼéitx ʼhua'ach. Ye dayacha ach eat in the shi kwan. ach un ach tywasagw chastw hech chwati. Gwell Cajun Winnita itach kawat sek klein wedu han. Ye awe ega awe so Lugóon yes Lingít anikach kudziti uchan yachiti adach ku ʼéitx ʼéitx hastu in kudziti tsu ach eat chewatan adach ku ʼéitx tsu do eat chewatan as kwani hastu eat chewatan ka chatlak die kan kau do ich getan so ja gunst chishach 18 sa achi ja do satsu
Good see. Ni eat ʼkukahaa I dat Johan. Cheese.
Hunach likuzi ganal cheese eat wu ka Lugóon. Chwasatin lldagat nask videos ka hell awuliech yuchatangi adat aadé na yw ka kunach likuzi ganal cheese.
chish
What is that? Skate.
Gynnilltís Ţukahaa gynnilltís títú I idach stugach haddati Wei Lugóon Skallnigi Ḳukahaa Hawak Wakshig Awati Kag Ye Dasagun Lugóon Yi Sophie Smarch Ḳukahaa Yan Ye de Sha Ka Deslindach Wuti Lugóon Cawllenig Adat we Shawach Sig Awashi Skallnig Ya Skallnig Dach Chaug Ayu Lugóon Yawaka Yechwaji Saku Skallnig Jaankua ach tawasagu Diego Genk Dasa Stuchaltu Weishkashnik Liad Skashnik so Diego Genk Adat Akwatan Sig Kwani Klech Du Ya Awune Lagas Awe Kleinach Shawat So Lugóon Yawaka Ya Shawat Gande Nagudi Ka Awayan Kamdli Yaz Du Klegu Llakeyach Kamjachin Du Janak Aga Awe Chakugei Yuchwatan or Ewatan Llagas Chakugei Yuchewatan So Wooch Yach Kudidal Akawawat Hakusti tu ayayati ya Wooch Yech Kudadal Achayach Shich Tzig Wuseti we Shawat Ye oe ye Chaug ayu ye oe ye dadune We Shawat, we Seek, we Tzig, Ku'uchu Kudziti. Masa hastu kustien ausgug. Du ʼiududli tu ḳukahaa akach hudzeti. Lingít ʼatkahin humzeti dach aya ha'i dullu. Kaya awne kat ya awne klach at seti chaklau hakusti oe. Ka as llakat adyaqa hegu kudzeti ach awe. Llakat adjich tuti at ya awne. Be ayayan akawlenek ka ganalchish tsu llaqun shkalni shaklaqe shkalnik.
Ňukahaa.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Aadé satsa? Yelqakun kalchish.
We video shuatin ka lagoon kwa acht we video dachun kachu Cajun gau yake kwa acht artlain gau a good transcription ka translation ka artlech gau yati ka adayu tukwatan dasa adayu ak kwatan Shaidahain Yukatangi Tlech Ka Aqua Ach Ada Yuhas Tukli At We Janwu Dugu Ka We Kanata Ka Cranberries Dujit Has Ausi In Wooch Katyati Gunilchish to eat woo Ha Gunilchish Lagoon Atlain
Sheesh too.
Ňukahaa. Sheesh. Hakun k'ach aqat ach't'eq.
Gnas cheatwu. Lugóon du sheesh cha shatakat at shirtu at woodly to Ḳukahaa atla lishku yachyatinsu or yatisu. Du to wasigu cha shatakat shirtu at Ḳukahaa Skoon at sati at du dashkani hajias. Wooch.
Ňukahaa. Sheesh hakun k'ach ach't'eq.
Gnas cheesh. Jinkat ka tledashu kwasatin. Tlech leit ka kanak. Kawaak. Tleshutuk uk dahin. Kwasaku. Kading. Shakagi. Shakaligi dak gooch. Katu, man helping wolf. To eat wood a she. Gue, ka, gooch. To eat wood a she. Achawe Atlain Takdak Gooch Kukwagoot Kashte Kaji Dugu Gwal Tlagu, the mosquito and the white-fronted goose. Kachu, the lion and the mouse. Gunos tis chiwu, yake eat ye jinye.
Cheers.
ʻéixa ʻatudli.átk cheese. Ţukahaa, you want?
Just like at Kawusaya wasa do a sock yanye de shawat just shawat a sai kristeke yanye de shaw
Yanye di siya, ʻhuaach.
just yanye de shaw like cheese.
Okay. Ţukahaa gwas ach eat ʻhuahaa. Kachkonachoe chasachan Lugóon. Wasa Lugóon di Łukatangi. Ya shukwa aya Wooch keke tuta ātawe achia chutwane shkalnigti. Gwas yesh ka kia ido sa gweshkalnig. Ade awe a kauklanig yeko a we shawat tundatani teen. Kachlakuzi at awe. A awe ya ach yisi ejene ya jinkat ka dagun shuwahichen. Ach aya kone yejek kone ya ach tu eda. Ach chuat tu yi ʼéináx. Ya du yejene jik wanakan. Ka chachwa ach oi ya ach sai a tudik chachwa qeiki. We gau kich ak ochwa hin yak wadlaki. Dech a ach yanach stu has awal tuun we academics. PhD has to GA wutien. Chitqa Lingít chatsati qa Lingít qone ay yen khashakukwe gau. Aqa yakhwadlaq. Inka kunig. Ya Fairbanks. Akhi khat wutien khatqa akshatqa akhkik. We Toronto de kukkwatien. We tatin qa'a ye'awa akhwajun. Khatqa khoyinak. We khawagi tlain na tunakhawi. Au tutlaqain. Shah yagi yisha qutsati. Masa'an katan. Akhit outlaqin. Akhwakla taqt outlaqin. Qayakhat yawsaqa. Yisitinge. Yisitinge yata. Yagayone ayis. Khitqa'a. Kertzigit. Ya akhjit khawdatan. We din. Piyejene a biayi. Qayqa lakutsi aya. We kutan. Gwash jin kat dagun shuhichen. Akhu awe kuu khad kakre haswuti. He khosaku wasadu asa gwash tishoni qinach. Ginja chwanyu qatangi qa akhwach lek labarge. Ye awa akre haswutien. Si ta da ye has awa khut. Dach ye dach. Ja, hast du ʼéináx wat leich daqaqaqwan. Achu awe at leich I akre haswutien. Aadé tu qur. Nakide. Aqatliye. Tlaye kawajuh. We. Tina yak. Just hast du khande. Yentu lahash. Tlagauden qane ketu ik. Keshas awas ku and hast du khande kakwa qur. Aqa sakutin. Ja, nadayin yachte hasluwaguk. Wujin out to a kleich. Ḳukahaa. Ja, du sai an yanki. Hu owe hast du out tu. We ʼéináx an kadushxeet attin awe. At yahai out leich yug. Khatkhewus helkewas aqwati. We atunach ʼadudli.átg at ik kudasi kakwati. Aqa awe ḳukahaa. Ye awe khwaleich. We da. Ach tu asagu latin etuye ti. De ki de kakki kuch. Iyek de we kuu. Wasach tu asagu kakaudu ye tle awe etlin. Jadasa datu kachtetan. ʼéitáx khadqewa wus tu itwudishi. Atshi khwaleich we at yahai kach. Aqa awe we at yahai tlayekhi. We wasak at kuna aku. Hu awe qaqwa dusaya Allen code. Qaqwa wus. Yisiejene ach jiwu. Dana hastu jiwu. We din ye owe ach jit kadushxeet. Atling dana ha jiwu. Dasai tuasagu. Qaqwa an kadushxeet at qa'atunach yu ʼadudli.átg atach tuasagu. Hu awe qaqwa wus kwal tlekha 1,000 dana e jiwu dasa kakki u. Kadein khosaku adan an kadushxeet at. We just chayegu genki o yekha yukatangi au saku ko akach tuasagu du ʼéitx kadushxeet. Khana kaunik yata kayata. Dakatat khana kaunik utua u. UAS has our u. Ach yejini yes. An awe qone hastu inyeja khone. Atu sakshawe shukwa. Ach khuni. Ach kani. Yunsak chia. Sean Smith. Ka. Atusa. CTF NYGNE. Wega hechosaku adusa. Deislin. Hasqaq wawus. Helke wasak wati ka ika kwashatu. Kwashukwa a kwanlin. ʼéitáx natasiyin. ʼéitáx deislin. Kwashwega. Shukwa a kwanlin kadeislin kanatasiyin. Yis kagate wutu da at khatqachit wu. Wega. Aqa awe. Qone yeje tuone. Shukwa a kadushxeet. Wetatin. Kingisti. Yu. Kwash. Dakhil atch. Guksa yejine. Du yejine ye. Du yukatangi kadushxeet. Tan kakhisawa. Qawaqshi. Qan qakid kawa au tleyek tleklehin gled qaqinach. Wishkalni ka inakawani. Khosakudu ish haskalnigi. Qanachtiti. Achawech akhwawus. Helke wasaqwati. ʼéitx kadushxeet qawishkalnik. Kunkinigi. Shukwa ayach wadlaq. Gwal kingisti saku. Gwalli saku. Tlagau de nuche watan. Satlagau. Sablagau. Ye awe. We. Gata Dukutasikachiersene. Guk yuchatan. Achtuasagu hosaku wasa. Keguchlaga. Ḥukahaa. Dadiachsa. Telkadeen hosaku adatsa. Guk yakanajuch. Kadushxeet ʼéitáx ʼéináx we levels ʼéitáx ʼadé. Āwati kaḥwaaq we adayijachoneya. Aqa awe yuke has khatputien we iti a gwal sedeya ka du Lingít tel hosaku Liza Bose the yudosa. Hu owe kadushxeet dachdehin. Sedeya tleidehin. Aqa qul qone adayijachone we an kadushxeet ad yag keyinak ka adusa. Kachuan ish. Qul tel kachuan ish we ga. Aqa awe qone ka ikhwalatu. Ya tlidzi at Liza Bose qone kakwana. Acho a shuutin ayewutin kachibu. Chibu khanakanik achtuasagu itlayisaku. Du inaya du khandechoku. Tachlakudzi. Tachonach achtuyak Ḥukahaa du yuchatangi. Aqa dachdehin kadushxeet. Ya dukusti dar kayel kaklia. Gul iti atak hechosaku. Yechoji. Natasihini. Lugóon kashuutin. Wuchin yuhas rawlatkin. Kadushxeet. Wega. Hutsu. We shukwa gul kaklage deslin. Aqa has natasihini. Katlaik behin su. Dage. Tla ustla. Ka kaklage. Ya janaski nach kadushxeet. Skuki yan chukai an ite. Keish an ite. Ye awa achtu yak chanakawadnik. Alan code adata we kashuk at aqaqone kadushxeet. Chewchne kanachoy du in kachwanik. Achtuasagu iyachyejachonik. We ku'u. Du yuchatangi kakwashaheed. Ye awa Lugóon. Kaklage. Wushichu ish. Kehinak. Chewchne. Kalkaw. Tunk. Guchdakashu. Kachuan ish. Shikshani. Tla ustla. Jukatin. Yis achwa utsu we an kadushxeet at has has wudishi Skagway Traditional Council ka si Alaska Corporation. Yisa tasawa uach jis. Tsu yejechwane has tuch kadushxeet ka shawat Ḥukahaa kleu tu ish Ḥukahaa Kanak Ḥukahaa Adisatsu Kudagan Ḥukahaa Shidehini Wasadu Asakwa Dastaya Ḥatxatse uqaq. Ḥwasaku desaiqa. Achkwe. Qa. Shtiqahatati jinahaq. Kaseikh. Achati. Chitledu data tuchtani khatbutlatish. Hastu yiqa. Wasa atachtashi. Ayana khwasaku waga. Qahasqakhwa wusen. Yaltakata dat. Jan khwasaku hatu yeyeti. Yahastu shlatsini. Ya Randall Tetlechi Hutsu ya Khewutin Wegwash Wait Nia Itika Haina Kawanik Washat Adati Tupuhi Yinakugu Dia We Yukatangi ʼéináx ʼadudli.átgi Kleshkutka Guhi Hastu Atwaskuku Koa Tlatki Tayide Aqaq We Tlatki Kakhu Kakitani Etude Kwati Ejuniti Ye awe achtundutani ye yetitse. Gunilchisha kheditsa achi gunilchisha yechne chitwu. Asa khatla khed irsaku. Ka itla khant aya ya khat shigudi khunakwe wuke. Ya atlein du yukatangi. Gwal Kuch klein gartutla yech du yukatangi team. One qanins yaach tu unique. Achu atlehasu to oshko adaye jetuni. Yes yaoka. Ha ai just uhan. Kleshas ash awishku kayukatangi ko. Aka awe. Gwash kaka kwati ko. Uchin. Je gartutlaak. Ja hadajchen kisani hastu kiki yes. Achtuasagu eka. Ya haiti haku. Tagun yach yu has khawul atkin. Ajawe. Kagachta ak. Takko heech. Hastu yes. Ye awa. Gunilchish yuhan. Gunilchish. Yewe ye kuge ach yu khatangi.
Gilchish Kane.
Aka await na. Ye awa. Khulach Lingít yu khatangi yach. Ya. Qone aya wan qanins. Qan qaqid kawe yu ʼadudli.átk. Nasjan kat when it's ʼéitáx. I'm gonna keep this short. Okay. Dasa ya yidet. Keka when it's aji ʼatudli.átk.
Dasa Lingít Kanak Arr Ka and Ka. There's the Tlingit phrase about learning to talk over the waterfall.
Oh, there's a yikt would dishqat yak ʼkadushxeet na Wooch. A boat full of silence always drifts quickly towards the waterfall. That was wild. It was so fun to be in the room when people said stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Anyasha. I forgot Anyasha. I was naming people earlier. I was just so thankful to Alan Code, I just happened to meet him, and then he wanted to do some work on a video he was doing called Dugout, which was a lot of fun. And then I did some translation work. If you ever watch that video, I'm pretty sure you'll see me say a prayer to this canoe. And I wanted to say something like, Wasa atachtashi, shlechet hastujiyeti, we'atkachako. Sounds nice, But I think I said wasa at achdashi. So I wanted to say, like, my prayer is that good fortune will be in the hands of the carvers. But I ended up saying, my prayer will be that good fortune will be in the hands of the basketball. And so when I was working on the translation of my own language, I was like, I'll just say carvers. Typed it in there. So there's the inside scoop, but it's a great film. It was a lot of fun. And then I just asked him, I said, hey, I got this new job at this university, and they just told me they got money. And if you had $20,000, like what kind of gear would you get? And he gave me this really cool list, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I got the stuff. I did, I played music a long time, and I was into like some stuff. I always had a little baby camera and stuff, but never really anything super nice. And so it was a nice camera. And he just said, like, this is really versatile. And there was a huge learning curve, but I recorded a lot of speakers because of that gear. So UAS bought it. It was Alan's idea. Well, I guess he inspired it. And then it was just based on these conversations with Nora Dowenhauer a lot, just thinking about how many, recording like hundreds of speakers over the course of her work. And I also knew we were going to lose them. Like we were like this was the chance. And so it became a big part of my work from 2011 through, well, still today, but especially I would say this high volume thing. Well, we still had a lot of, well, not a lot, but compared to what we have now, we had like 50 different speakers that were really, some of them were really amazing, like just spectacular. And I remember thinking, if we're going to speak like they do, we've got to write it down. And Alice Taft was doing this amazing project at the same time. She was fully in the transcription and translation mode and was hiring people to work on that stuff. And so she was the one who introduced us to Elon and to this idea of like working through these videos in this systematic way. And so it's amazing stuff, and it all leads up to this encounter with Lugóon, which was amazing. It was like it was like I can distinctively remember when I met all these different speakers, especially as I was learning Tlingit, and then I would meet people who knew Tlingit, and then I would start talking to them. And so that, I would say probably around 2005, that was just a goal of mine. If you knew the language, I was going to talk to you in the language. I didn't care how bad I sounded. I was going to talk to you in the language and get you to talk to me, because I thought, how else am I going to figure it out? Like, how else am I going to do it? And so through that, they helped me, and then I was able to, be one of the people that they could talk to, because for a lot of them, they probably went a majority of their life without meeting new people to talk to. Like they knew all the people, unless they traveled somewhere or went to some language meeting. They knew everybody, and some of them hadn't talked for a very long time. And so just being able to talk to them and get them to record stuff was really magical. It was really just amazing. And then to be sometimes like there when they were saying some of that stuff. And my language, like some of my language skills, like sometimes I'll be like, I know that was awesome. I don't fully know what it was, but I knew it was just something amazing. And I was able to figure it out later. And so.
ʼatudli.átg. Like it's what I want too. Yeah, I want to be able to understand. I don't have to speak so much, but I'm picking up more and more throughout the classes. The first time I ever heard Tlingit was in a hospital, and they didn't need an interpreter, but they were asking if they had anyone who spoke Tlingit. This was in Anchorage, and so I was just like, hey, I'm a learner, and I just started my journey. I was just typing up on my 15-minute break, and I asked her if I could just talk with her, or if there's anything she could share with me, or if you could hear and say if I was saying this right. And every time I'd say something, she would say it back. but she, like correctingly. But I didn't know the sounds that well. So, you know, try and change it. ʼchach, ʼchach. But at the end, she gave me this big speech, and I was just silenced. I wasn't expecting a real answer. And she gave me this big 3-4 minute speech in Tlingit. And then they got called back.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what she said. I wish I could go back. I mean, I wish I had that recording knowledge. I wish I knew how precious it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even now that I have recorders, I still get kind of nervous. Even asking. And then when you do ask, if you get an indirect answer, it's kind of like, was that a yes? Should I just kind of do it? Or, because it was like a yes at first, and then it kind of turned into, maybe. Did you ask them? I'm like, I'm asking you. But, yeah. Chatsu, ʼatudli.átk.
Okay. Thoughts, reflections, questions?
Lots of language questions, but.
Right on.
No, just I remember that first time you came in line to and I think maybe I was the only white guy in that group, and I said to you, "Do you want to come and meet my mother?" And you weren't too sure, eh? But you did. You did hop in the truck, eh? And anyways, but I remember what you said. You said to her, "Where have you been hiding?" Because she really did keep to herself. It was her sister, Xuatin, that was out there more, and Lugóon basically stayed home. And I guess, just the other thing I'd say, when I was doing those recordings, I understood very little of what she was saying, and but she had told me these stories in English, like about the time her father triggered a snowslide and woke up a grizzly bear and stuck a 22 in his mouth and killed it. And I'd say, well, why don't you tell that or talk about that, or why don't you talk about this, or that little moose hunting story? Why don't you talk about that time where your husband couldn't shoot a moose and you got two of them, or whatever? Uh, so I kind of had a context, but I really couldn't, understand a whole lot. Uh, and even I'll just say one other thing, and then I'll leave it. The one that I played that we played tonight that you worked on with her was one of the first ones that I did. The Thunderbird one was the first one, and I sure had to do a good edit on them before I played them tonight, eh? Like that's going back a couple of years and just picking up a lot of stuff that I had missed or just whatever. So it it's just a process, eh? I guess really, eh? It's
Yeah.
you do what you can, and like you had said to me, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Put something out there, and you can fix it up after. But anyways,
I mean, parts of it, it's like you're asking someone to watch your hockey highlight tape, and you put it on and it shows you like just falling on the ice and just wiping out. And like, oh, well, after and so, but it's just part of the process. And I think it's a really beautiful thing to have this whole, like, I'm very proud of all of the mistakes that I've made. Like, I've got notebooks full of stuff that's so wrong. Like, and when I look at it, I'm like, that's not it, bro. But I figured out stuff by continuing to be inquisitive and curious and to not have my confidence be shattered when I was incorrect. And so, and for me, that came back to like the way I wanted to start teaching Tlingit, which was just to say, just go for it, just go. Like nothing bad's gonna happen if it's said wrong. And like mistakes, some people are so, and I understand because endangered languages, there's so much on the line. But sometimes it feels like, and people have said to me before, like, if you don't know how to say it right, don't say it. I'm like, well, how are we gonna figure? Like, do you say it to babies? Like, shut up, baby, until you get it correct, right? And so we have to sort of like create these environments where it's okay, and we'll continue to fix things. And some things are through, I think, a direct approach with because Tlingit has there's so much stuff. There's just like every couple seems like every month I'll find something. I'm like, oh, there's okay, there's a different verb for that specific thing. Okay, I got it. There's two verbs for spilling something. One is if something spills, and one is if somebody spills it. And so it's like you just never run out of stuff to just, oh, there's another thing I got to learn, right? And so, and I was thankful for that too, because I'm like, wow, well, that's, and sometimes, as learners, we'll be like, but why? And then sometimes you just have to be like, well, that's just how it is. And so, but it's so fun to have that and to have a record of it, which and there's been times where people have made fun of me for that I got stuff wrong or this work had errors or whatever. And it's fine. That's fine. If people need to like laugh at that, that's fine. But it's a sign of productivity. I mean, it's not a sign of like carelessness. It's just like there's so much stuff to do, and there's when when I was learning, there was like you had two books to learn from, like, or three, I guess. You had beginning Tlingit, but there was a whole bunch of other stuff that people had done, like these Tlingit short stories and this um, little conversations in Tlingit and ʼatudli.átg, and there's all these little books, but part of the problem was they're all scattered all over the place, and so you'd sort of like find these things, but they'd be cool, like archivists, like Jim Samar at ʼéináx should say, hey, look at this, we found this and we scanned it. Can you use it? Can you use this? And so then the idea became to like try and like get everything into like one space so we could sort of like dig through this stuff and remake things if we needed to because the spelling changes a little bit. And I do think one of my next projects is probably gonna like a future project in the next 5 years maybe is retyping all of the Shotridge stuff and all of the De Laguna stuff and all the Emmons stuff with Tlingit as we would write it today, because there's so many useful things in there. Like, what did I find? So there's this. What's a blackfish? Anybody know what's a blackfish when we're talking about Tlingit culture?
Lingcod?
No,
Keat?
although that's called a sablefish, and that's close.
Yeah,
It's not a killer whale.
yeah.
No.
But if you go down to Prince of Wales, especially, and if even the Sitka, especially the Sitka Totem Park, a lot of these totem poles can have a blackfish on it. And I was always like, well, what? Well, what is it? Like, I've seen it. It's got these round eyes. It looks kind of killer whale-ish on the totem pole, but it's different. And so I was working on a story with the Taku River Tlingit Society, which is doing great stuff, amazing stuff. And this version of the story, Natsatlane, creates not just the killer whale, but Keet, Cheech, and Keet Wusani, which is the name of this blackfish. And then I was like, well, blackfish. So then I go into the Emmons notes. I think it was in Emmons. I just started looking for blackfish. And I looked, and it says, and the Tlingits also like made carvings of a blackfish, which is called a pilot whale. And in Tlingit, it's called Keet Wusani. I was like, the spear of the killer whale, the hunting spear of the killer whale, amazing, right? And so like you'll always continue to find stuff, and it's so fun.
That the same thing as a false killer whale?
Maybe
Pilot whale?
it's called pilot whale. I guess it looks like it swims in front of the killer whales, which is why it's called Keet Wusani. Fun stuff. So fun. What are we doing next Tuesday? We're off on Thursday. Cooking up a storm. Oh, wait, Teka. Gunchish.
Um,
Has anybody not led have we all done the discussion leading?
I think so.
Perhaps. If you haven't, it's probably a good time to take a look at the old ʼacut the forgotten document that is the syllabus. But for a class like this, what we're trying to do is get together and speak Lingít, and that's enough. That's a lot. But as far as the only important thing is the next week. Is that right? Do I have my dates right? Is it December next week? So next week is our last week of classes. Tuesday class, Thursday class. Then we have our final meeting on Tuesday. This is it. We're going to tie this thing off on the mountaintop. So I think we should, there's certainly a chance, if you haven't had a chance to do discussion leading, send me an email. We could do that on Tuesday and Thursday of next week. And then what we'll do for our final is we'll just get together and we're not going to record that class. We're just going to talk about how this all went. It was the first time I ever taught this class. I had a vision that we needed fourth-year language classes where you just use the language. And I knew it would be hard, and I know it still is. But, yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you want to keep going, Tlingit Oral Literature is next semester. And it's going to be a similar thing, except it'll be different because it's not more about find something to talk about. It's this story, that, and so, but I'll be putting together a roster of recordings for us to look at. And some of it will be, you find something, right? And there's this huge collection of stuff. There's the Lugóon recordings. There's things from Ḳukahaa and ʼéináx that we haven't transcribed and translated yet. And we'll probably do some of that work. That'll probably be either the midterm or the final. I think the midterm should be, well, we'll see. We might do them both at the same time. Who knows? But I know you'll do one transcription translation thing, and then you do one tell us a story. Tell us a whole big old story in Tlingit. And, do your best to, as Nora said, no notes, no scripts, no little thing on your palm. But don't get scared. Don't let that scare you away, because it's a big step. These are big steps we're taking. So.
Is that the one that is that the same class that ʼéitx was teaching?
At one point.
A little different.
Because there is in Alaska, there's an indigenous oral narratives one, and that one's more that's an English medium class. So this class, I've taught it twice before, and the goal, this was the first one where the goal was just to use Lingít to talk about something.
Okay.
And so we would listen to whole big recordings and try and talk about it, but which is probably what we'll do, is we'll listen to a recording. We'll talk about it. So. Any other thoughts, questions, things before we?
What are we doing on Tuesday?
I don't know.
Did you say?
Dasawe?
It's mystery. Yeah, so what we'll do is, well, we don't have anyone signed up to lead discussion, and so if anybody wants to chime in, now's the time. But what I'll do is if I hear anything, if someone comes up with an idea, um, I'll send out a message to everybody. But in the meantime,
Could we keep doing did we finish this translation of that story?
let's do that. We got to finish that. Gonna sheesh. I knew someone here would know what we're doing.
Dasaway Kashnik.
Oh, we were taking a look at this Tlingit short stories, and it's the one called Fetching Firewood. And we're going through and translating it from Tlingit to English. Because it's written down, but there's no translation given, which is Ha'iqawusu. It's a blessing for us. Gilchish, Anyanach you probably you were at the Kuik as well, so and then like yeah, there's this thing like people call it like a Kuik hangover, which I don't really like, but it's like Kuik jit
Oh my.
I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I saw someone at Leon Santiago's
Mm.
funeral, and he was at the Kuik as well. And we both were on the 6 a.m. flight coming back. Went to the funeral at 12:30, and I was like, "Didn't I just see you?" And he said, "I went home and like was done for 4 hours, and now here I am." And so, but doing this stuff like staying up all night and doing cultural stuff for and for some folks it's like 27, 30 hours straight. Like it messes you up for a couple days.
Yeah.
Or for like
Mhm.
I guess you'd say ʼéináx ach ach maybe something like but it's not very nice. It's not a very nice phrase, but I am
Well,
there's no water in my head. Go ahead.
isn't that why they did them over multiple days, right? Back in the day, because then you wouldn't have that like, you know.
Yeah, which is maybe we need to propose this to the people to say, we don't have to stay up for 30 hours trying to get all the things done and going crazy. We go to
Yeah.
everybody go to bed, pick it up tomorrow morning. I think that would be such a fresh
Well,
perspective.
and I sort of think too, like part of the reason we call them parties and part of the reason we did it all night was because they were no longer allowed, right? Like we weren't supposed to be doing them. And so we like came up with a euphemism for it, and now, like, and of course we still kept doing it, but now we're allowed to do it again in the open. So why do we pretend like we have to do it like a secret still?
Yeah, exactly. And so you don't have to just smash it all in. Like you could figure it out. So yeah, it is a 40-hour like what if you just came to work and like actually do it all in like a one day?
Yeah.
Go. Where it's just like bonk. But it's also amazing too because okay, I'll tell you we came down to for my uncle's funeral one time. His name was Kadushxeet, Paul Wilson. Amazing, wonderful person. And I drove all night because we're supposed to do like some shit. There's supposed to be shifts, but like something happened and I had to take both the shifts. And so I was like, fine, it's okay. We'll be okay. I'll go in, I'll take a nap. We'll go to my uncle's funeral. And we got in, they said, oh, there's Kakwantan Kru'i for Agnes Bellinger. You guys want to go? I was like, okay. So then we go to the Kru'i, and I'm sitting with Clarissa Rizal and Nathan Jackson and Bob Paulo, and they're just a riot. They were just so fun to sit with at the Kru'i. Just joke after joke and just funny stuff. And I'm sitting across from Nathan Jackson, who's just got this kind of deep voice and this pace of storytelling. And someone had given him these pink baby socks, which he had on his ears. So he's got these pink baby socks on his ears. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. There's people laying on the walls because they're just passed out. They just like fell asleep, right? And I hadn't slept, and I can't even remember how long I'd been up, like because I drove all night from Fairbanks, and and the story was like there was this guy, we didn't like each other, we saw each other in a bar and we started arguing. And I said, "You want to take this outside?" And we went outside, and there were these whole bunch of cops in the parking lot. So we just looked at each other and went back inside. Like that was kind of the whole story. But the way he tells stories, he's like, and then I said, "Do you want to take this?" You know, and I was like, "Stop! I can't. My brain's gonna break. I can't. You got pink socks on your ears." You know, it was too much. And so sometimes getting into that mode is kind of fun because like you're so tired and out of it, but also like I don't know,
It's probably my favorite memories is when we're all tired and giggling and everything.
right? Everything's bonkers. So
Yeah.
anyways, gonna teach you, hon. No class on Thursday. Don't come. See you on Tuesday.
Okay.
Wooch to steam. ʻéitx.
Who's Sue fetching firewood?
It's Lingít short stories. I'll put the link on our class page. But we'll just do it.
Sheesh.
But if you want to take a look at it and do some work between now and then.
Gnsh.
Okay, good cheese.
Okay, ʻéináx.
Cheese.
Siagan.